Okay, thanks for jumping on. Hope everybody made it back from Knoxville safely. Coming out of last night, injury-wise, no real concerns. Just some normal bumps and bruises, but nothing that we expect to be long-term. Off week is certainly coming at a good time. We're extremely beat up, as you know, on both lines of scrimmage, and it showed last night, so we have to get healthy. Looking at the tape today, guys that played well, that gave us a chance to win, that we felt like defensively, Jalen Kilgore and Nick Eman-Wari. Offensively, Trey Knox and Mario Anderson. And then on special teams, Mitch Jeter and Hunter Rogers. Really everything that I said last night, post-game to you guys, I would feel the same way, today. Offensively, we have to be better. We missed way too many opportunities. When you fake a punt, you got the ball in plus territory, and you go backwards, get no points out of it. And when you get a kickoff out of bounds and you get the ball when they were already kicking off from the 20, and you get the ball on the 50-yard line and you go backwards and get no points out of it, it's hard to win games on the road in this league when that happens. It's hard to win games, period, when that happens. And we didn't capitalize on opportunities last night. Way too many negative plays, meaning sacks and tackles for loss. And, third and fourth down, obviously, we were nowhere good enough on third down and fourth down, and we knew situational football would be key in this game, playing with who they are and how they play football, and we weren't good enough. We have to be better. Defensively, they gave us an opportunity. Obviously, the stats aren't what we want, but from a defensive standpoint, but we got 2 turnovers defensively, which we told our team this turnover battle was going to be key going into the game. We were literally tied with Tennessee in turnover margin. We had both created 5 and we had both given away 4, so we were both +1, and that we needed to win it, and we did. We got 3 3-and-outs, I think, all in the third quarter as well. So our defense got stops in the third quarter and gave our offense an opportunity, and we weren't able to capitalize. The disappointing thing, the biggest disappointment from a defensive standpoint was, one, the 3 drives, and 3 drives can be a difference in a game, but the beginning of the second half, or really 2 main drives in my mind, the beginning of the second half when we allowed, the first drive of the game where we pin them deep and they're taking over on the 6-yard line, and we allowed them to go 94 yards on their opening drive for a touchdown. The first drive of the second half where we allowed them to go 75 yards for a touchdown. And then when we kick a field goal to cut it to a 2-score game, another 75-yard drive. So we were out there too many plays in the second half and weren't good enough defensively on third down. We've got to get more pressure on the quarterback. We said this was going to be a line of scrimmage game, and they had their defense, way too many tackles for losses and sacks against us, and we only created 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss, and that was by a linebacker. So, part of that is depth and being able to play more bodies. I mentioned it last night, not making excuses, but losing TJ was a big loss for us because it forced Boogie and Tonka to play a lot more than we needed them to, and they weren't as productive in the fourth quarter as we needed them to be. So we've got to continue to help those guys by developing more and more depth. Proud of our defensive backs, for all the crap they took the week before after the Mississippi State game. Y'all watched the game. Our game plan going into this game against Tennessee wasn't play soft and play soft coverage and protect our DBs. It was get up and challenge their receivers, and we basically, essentially played man coverage, man principles the entire night. The interception was a great job by our defensive backs. The DQ's interception, a great job of our DBs disguising, man coverage and then playing too deep behind it. But other than that, we played a whole lot of man coverage and brought pressure, and those guys did a great job challenging their receivers and making tackles. Looking at it, we got to clean up some technique issues. We gave up way too many quick slants, which that's a big part of their offense. We got to be better on the quick slant from a technique standpoint. But proud of the DBs, and key for us is we have to get better as a football team. Told the team today no one expected to be 2-3. I think we're better than a 2-3 team, but we've got to get a whole lot better. Off week's a great opportunity for us. It's a work week for us. We have to get better. We have to get healthy. We got to develop our young guys, and we know we're dealing with some issues right now that we've just got to overcome and do a better job coaching and putting our guys in positions to make plays and be successful. So, any questions you guys have?
Shane, it's Dave. Obviously Tennessee runs what they do. It's very up-tempo, very unique. Was there some relief to be found by knowing you guys probably won't face that kind of offensive attack the rest of the year?
Yeah, everybody will mix in some tempo, but as far as being able to go that fast, sure, that's a good thing, I guess. But for the most part, I thought we handled it okay. The first touchdown, we didn't get lined up properly, and we were a little bit late getting lined up and set in the front the proper way. So that got us, and then obviously the pace and all that. The offense, in the first half, we did a good job handling it. Didn't play a ton of plays, but played way too many plays, like I said, in the second half. But every week is an animal. Every week's a different challenge. And with Tennessee, it's their ability to run, throw, and then you throw the tempo in, with it as well. But whatever the team's philosophy is, whether it's ground and pound you or multiple tight ends or 5 wide receivers or tempo, we've got to be able to handle it and get stops for sure.
Shane, it's Colin. You talked a lot about needing these freshman wide receivers to play, but Tyshawn Russell, Nick Harbert. Do you feel like they're ready to contribute 25, 30 snaps a game? And what would you like to see from them kind of over this bye week to make you feel comfortable about playing them significant snaps moving forward?
Yeah, just consistency. It's easy to say, well, just throw them out there and limit what you do schematically and things like that. That's easy to say, but you also got to be able to, put together a game plan that allows you to go be successful, and that's at any position. So I thought they did, okay last night. We do need to get them out there to one, Omega Blake and Xavier Leggett. We can't rely on those two guys to play every play at receiver. So we've got to be able to bring those guys along and provide depth and get better. Just consistency. The route we threw to Tyshawn out there over there on our sideline. The depth of the route was off, and that's why it looked a little bit funky with the catching it and falling down and all that as well. So it's details, and that's what I told the team today. It's not just freshmen; it's everybody, and the details matter. And we got to be more detailed, and that's on us as coaches, starting with me. And but to answer your question, just the consistency, and when you know what to do, you're able to go out there and play confidently and play fast, and they're both getting there. I thought Nick did some good things last night. If you noticed, Nick was on our kickoff coverage team last night. He was on our punt pressure team. So we're continuing to get him going on special teams, and we'll continue to get all of our guys going on offense and defense.
Hey Shane, it's Hale. I think you said last week or a week before, whenever, that y'all would kind of reevaluate things with Juice this week. Can you go into detail about what that looks like? What y'all are sort of planning to do with him this week?
Yeah, probably not much. He's still got some soreness. When he's not in the walking boot, just saw him downstairs in the weight room, and he's working out and doing the best he can. I would say, Hale, it's probably not do much at all with him this week. We're going to practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then those will be our work days. And I think as far as Juice goes, we'll kind of see how things go through this week, but I think from an evaluation standpoint, it'll be a little bit more in depth at the beginning of next week to see where he is, not just for Florida, but going forward.
Okay, I guess I sort of interpreted that as like taking him to a doctor or whatever and reevaluating things or something like that, or is it more just seeing how he responds, how he's feeling?
I think it's more. I apologize if I misspoke. It is reevaluating things during the off week. We'll kind of see where he is and how he feels, and then as far as like seeing any doctor or specialist, I think our plan is early next week maybe get another X-ray and kind of see what things look like, and see how he feels early next week with our doctors, specialists in Charlotte, and then go from there.
Hey, Shane, it's Ben Brenner. You mentioned kind of those long drives, and I think looking at some of the numbers, you guys have had a good bit of trouble keeping teams kind of behind the sticks. I guess you mentioned tackles for losses, sacks, that kind of stuff. But beyond that, what are sort of the areas you focus on to, I guess, create that kind of disruption and put teams in sort of less optimal position to kind of grind out those longer drives?
Yeah, I think every week, Ben, is schematically maybe what we're doing. I mean, you watch us last night. I know you analyze tape each week. I mean, essentially, defensively, you're going to see a whole lot of rushing four and basically playing, man quarters or man coverage every snap. And when we brought pressure, you're going to see us running, that little Mike Will cross pressure up the middle, which we ran a bunch last night. So I think every week is you look at things from a schematic standpoint, how to create negative plays. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to win a one-on-one rep. And you look at us against Mississippi State, we created some negative plays, and we had some tackles for loss, and we had sacks, and it wasn't some magical scheme that we ran last Saturday night against Mississippi State. It was guys just out-competing and winning one-on-ones. And we've got to do a great job schematically putting our guys in position to make plays. But, if you'll see last night, there's a lot of times where we just had some one-on-one blocks, and somebody's got to stay in a gap and get off a block and make a play.
Shane, it's Colin again. I guess a lot of Spencer's throws or play calls on third down, fourth down, maybe went not past the sticks. Was that just Spencer reading a progression? The play call, kind of, what do you attribute that to, where the pass didn't maybe go past that first down?
Yeah, that wasn't good. For that to happen, that wasn't the plan. I can think of two of them off the top of my head. One was the one over there on our sideline. Spencer checked that one, thought he was getting a pressure look, and checked it because he thought he was getting some pressure, and the play that we had called was not going to be a good play for what he thought he was getting, and we kind of guessed. He kind of guessed wrong a little bit on that one. Would like to have stayed with that play. The other one was in my mind, the fourth down at the end of the game. We've got to. We can't check that ball down. We've got to be able to, throw the corner route, over there on our sideline, or the deep out over there corner route over there on their sideline, deep out over there on their sideline, or get back to the dig coming from right to left. So it wasn't necessarily designed to go in the flat, to answer your question, his progression, if you will. But in that situation, it's fourth down. We got to, or third down, we got to give our receivers, be smart with the ball, but we got to give our receivers a chance to go make a play, particularly the last one over there where we checked the ball down on the sideline too. I think that was Trey Knox.
Hey, Shane, I got a couple questions about Emory Floyd and Drew Tuazama, or one question about those guys. Were they scratched because of injury, or they just weren't on the travel plans? Why were they not with the team last night?
They weren't on the travel plans last night.
And I guess one more with obviously the bye week this week. Will you guys practice through Wednesday, Thursday? What's the plan with the workload for the guys?
Yeah, we met today, we lifted today, so coaches, have been in here since early this morning, got the players over here this afternoon, so today's been a normal Sunday for us, except we won't practice. We just lifted and had meetings today, team meetings, special teams, offense, defense meetings, and then we will practice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Obviously, our guys have class obligations on Thursday and Friday. Coaches will do some recruiting, but everybody, the players will have off football-wise. They'll have off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they'll be back in here on Sunday afternoon and start our normal game week. So it's the same schedule, Hale, that we've done the last 2 years, the off week in 2021 and then the open week in 2022. It's the same schedule. Practice-wise, we'll get some really good work in. We'll get some situational work in. Need all of that, and then really everybody needs a break mentally and physically. It's been a hard month. It's been a long grind. We've played 5 teams this month that got a combined record of 18-5, and the 5 losses are South Carolina, Florida, LSU, and Alabama. So mentally, and we've been going throughout training camp as well, obviously the whole month of August. So everybody needs to get away from it for a few days, mentally and physically. We'll get great work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll get better as a team Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll come back in here ready to roll on Sunday and get ready for these last 7 regular season games.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shane, one more just personnel, decision-making question. Juju McDowell was in on that 3rd and 1, and it kind of got blown up. Was that just what made you want to go with him? And I think a lot of people are wondering why maybe a Mario or a Decarion or a short yardage guy might have not been.
Because we went tempo. On the play before, Juju was in the game. We were in an empty formation on the play before. And on the next play, which is the play you're referring to, we went fast, and because of that, we didn't want to sub and allow them the chance to sub. So we went fast, tried to hit them on a quick hitter, and we weren't able to get it done. So that's why, when you in a short yardage situation, obviously you like bigger backs, but I got confidence in Juju in that situation as well. But that's why he was in there on that one, because it was a tempo play.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I'm giving y'all some bonus time since we don't have practice tonight. Anybody else?
Shane, wanted to have a quick question. You mentioned a play that Spencer had checked. Was that the one that ended with I think it was a screen to Luke, or was it a different one of those, the 3rd downs?
It was the one we had 3 receivers on the right, and we threw it over there on our sideline. I think that was the one we threw. It wasn't the screen on the left side to Luke. It was in the first half, Ben. It was the 3 receivers to the right, and we threw the ball to the inside receiver.
All right. Same
thing we did against who was that against? I think UNC. We did that same scheme and had our same play, had some success with it, and sometimes that's going to happen. They did a good job of disguising stuff, and they fooled us, and certainly one we'd like to have back, along with a lot of things from last night, coaching and playing.
Hey, Coach, it's Andrew. I just wanted to ask you, with the losses y'all have had so far this season, it seems like one of the themes has been missed opportunities. How do you go about parlaying that into the message to your team about how, hey, y'all, if we can just, change things around in this area and that area, we could have much better results in the second half of this season?
Yeah, I think it's essentially that. There's no moral victories around here. Nobody's happy about being 2-3, but it's one of those where, every single game we had an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter. And you could say, well, it was a 2-score game and things like that. But when we kicked the field goal last night, for example, to make it a 2-score game with 9 minutes left, you feel good about your opportunity to at least have a chance to tie this thing and win it. Going all the way back to the first game against UNC, it's a 2-score game, and we're inside the 20-yard line or whatever it was 3 times and got no points out of it. So that's the biggest thing, is just understanding that we've in 3 losses against some really good teams, we've had opportunities in the fourth quarter to swing it in our favor, and we weren't able to get it done. But then also making sure that they understand that winning is hard. And there needs to be great detail and discipline in everything that we're doing. And when you don't do it, you get exposed when you play good teams, and particularly away from home, which our 3 losses have been. And you learn from it and try and get better and continue to develop your personnel and correct the things that are hurting you and continue to build on the things that are helping you also. All right. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end.